She had been his wife for 48 years. They had raised 3 children, traveled the world, laughed at each other's quirks, and sat silently through some of the hardest storms of life. And then, one quiet morning, he woke up and she didn't. Just like that, this world changed forever. Losing a spouse in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s is one of the most painful experiences a human being can endure. It's not just the absence of a person, it's the loss of routine, of identity, of shared memories and private language. Suddenly, you're not part of a we anymore. You're just you. And for many, that loneliness feels unbearable. This isn't something people talk about often. No one prepares you for the silence of your home, for setting the table for one, for sleeping on just one side of the bed. Yet millions of older adults are silently carrying this heartbreak. And while grief is deeply personal, it also follows some pattern zones we can understand, respond to, and gently begin to heal from. In this video, we'll walk through what happens emotionally and physically after losing a life partner. We'll talk about the grief, the health risks, the loneliness, and most importantly, the path forward. Because while the pain may never fully disappear, there are powerful ways to rebuild, reconnect, and rediscover purpose, even in the quiet aftermath of loss. Let's begin. The widowhood effect. What science says about spousal loss. When someone loses a spouse after decades of shared life, it's more than emotional heartbreak. It's a seismic shift that touches every part of their well-being. Science has a name for this phenomenon: the widowhood effect. It refers to the increased risk of illness and death that often follows the loss of a partner, especially in older adults. Statistically, seniors who lose a spouse have up to a 66% increased risk of dying within the first 3 months of bereavement. This risk is highest immediately after the loss, but even after 1 year, widowed individuals often show signs of worsened health, both mentally and physically. Why does this happen? First, grief takes a heavy toll on the immune system. Cortisol, the stress hormone, surges. Sleep patterns become disrupted. The immune system weakens, making the person more vulnerable to infections, inflammation, and chronic diseases. For some, appetite disappears. Others withdraw socially, deepening feelings of isolation. But the widowhood effect goes deeper than biology. The identity of wife or husband becomes a daily role. After a partner passes, many people lose their sense of purpose. The routines they shared, morning coffee, evening walks, grocery trips vanish. The silence in the house becomes deafening. For many, the loss is not just of a person, but of a shared world. Understanding this effect matters, because it reminds us that grief isn't just emotional, it's physical. And when society and families recognize the widowhood effect, they can respond with empathy, timely support, and meaningful intervention. No one should have to navigate this transition alone. Step 1. Allow yourself to grieve fully. Grief after losing a spouse isn't something that can be rushed or tucked away. It's something that must be felt, faced, and allowed to breathe. For many seniors, especially after decades of companionship, the silence that follows a partner's passing can feel deafening. Waking up alone, sitting at the breakfast table without them, reaching for a hand that's no longer there, these aren't just emotional shifts. They're deeply personal reminders of a life shared. But here's what many people don't hear enough. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. Some cry every day. Some don't cry at all. Some feel guilt for moving forward. Others for not moving fast enough. Grief comes in waves, not stages, and everyone's ocean is different. What's most important in these early days is not to judge your emotions. Let them arrive. Let them pass through. Talk to someone if you can. Write if that helps. Sit in the quiet when you need to. You don't need to be strong all the time. You don't need to have it all figured out. Take the story of Evelyn, who lost her husband of 52 years. For the first few weeks, she said she felt like she was walking through fog. Friends told her to keep busy, but what she really needed was permission to slow down, cry when she needed to, and remember him in her own way. She started lighting a candle beside his photo every evening, not to hold on, but to honor the love they shared. That small ritual gave her peace and helped her move through the pain without pushing it down. Grief is not a sign of weakness. It's the evidence of deep love. And while it hurts now, giving yourself the space to fully feel will help you begin to heal, not to forget, but to carry forward with grace. Step 2. Lean on connection, even when it's hard. It's easy to believe that no one can understand the depth of your pain after losing a spouse. You might feel like retreating into silence, keeping busy with routines, or filling your day with distractions. But beneath it all, your heart still longs for someone to talk to, someone who truly sees you, and that's where the healing power of connection comes in. After John lost his wife of 52 years, he shut down. He stopped going to the community center, ignored phone calls, and barely spoke to his neighbors. One day, his granddaughter stopped by unannounced. She didn't try to cheer him up or fix his sadness. She just sat beside him, holding his hand. That moment, quiet and simple, broke something open. He hadn't realized how much he needed just one person to show up, not with answers, but with presence. When you're grieving, connecting with others can feel exhausting. But loneliness is more dangerous than you think. It affects not just your mood, but your immune system, your sleep, even your lifespan. You don't need to surround yourself with a crowd. Sometimes, one meaningful conversation is enough to remind you that you're not alone. Reach out to an old friend, sit with someone at church, join a small support group, or simply start a conversation with a neighbor. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means allowing love, in all its new forms, to reach you again. Connection is not a replacement for your spouse's presence, but it is a gentle bridge toward feeling human again. Step 3. The power of grief support groups. After the loss of a lifelong partner, loneliness can settle in like a fog, quiet, persistent, and difficult to lift. Many seniors find themselves surrounded by people, yet feeling entirely alone. That's where grief support groups can be life-changing. These aren't just rooms full of sad stories, they're safe spaces where healing begins. When 79-year-old Helen lost her husband of 52 years, she didn't think anyone could possibly understand the ache in her chest. Her children were grown and busy, and her home, once filled with laughter and movement, now echoed with silence. She hesitantly joined a local grief support group at her community center. The first meeting, she barely spoke, but as she listened to others share their stories, some raw, some reflective, she began to feel less alone. Within weeks, she found herself opening up, forming bonds, even laughing again. Grief groups give seniors permission to feel without judgment or timelines. They offer stories that mirror your own and voices that gently say, "I've been there too." Whether it's through a local church, a senior center, or even online, joining a support group provides connection, understanding, and the slow, steady light of hope. You don't have to face your pain in silence. Sometimes, healing begins with simply being heard. Step 4. Seek professional help. Why it's not weakness but wisdom. For generations, many seniors were taught to tough it out or keep it to themselves when facing emotional struggles. Talking to a therapist? That was something other people did. But let's get one thing clear. Seeking professional help isn't a sign of weakness. It's one of the wisest, strongest decisions you can make. After losing a spouse, many older adults find themselves caught in a silent storm. They may smile in front of others, keep busy during the day, but as the nights grow quiet, the weight of grief settles in. And while family support is invaluable, there's something deeply healing about speaking to someone trained to help you untangle your emotions without judgment. Consider Frank. After his wife passed, he kept telling his children he was fine. But inside, he was battling waves of loneliness and guilt he couldn't explain. After months of sleepless nights and sudden breakdowns, his daughter gently convinced him to see a grief counselor. It changed everything. In just a few sessions, Frank began to understand that his emotions weren't unusual, they were human. He didn't need fixing. He needed space to feel. A professional therapist, especially one who understands grief, in later life can help you process feelings you might not even realize you're carrying: anger, regret, guilt, fear of the future. Therapy gives you tools to move forward, not by forgetting the one you lost, but by finding peace in their memory. And these days, it's easier than ever. Many seniors now attend virtual therapy sessions from the comfort of home. Medicare even covers certain mental health services. The support is there, you just have to take the first step. So if you've been wondering whether it's time to speak to someone, take this as your sign, not because you're broken, but because you're brave enough to want healing. Step 5. Building a new routine and rediscovering purpose. In the weeks and months after losing a spouse, the days can feel like a blur. Time seems to either crawl or race, and the structure that once held life together, shared meals, bedtime conversations, weekend routines, suddenly vanishes. But slowly, a new truth begins to emerge. Though the loss is permanent, life isn't over. And with the right mindset and a little courage, it's possible to rebuild, not by forgetting the past, but by weaving it into something new. Take the story of Helen, 79. After 52 years of marriage, she lost her husband, Charles, to cancer. At first, she didn't want to get out of bed. Mornings were the hardest. But one day, a neighbor invited her to a local knitting circle. Helen hesitated. She'd never been one for clubs. But she went. That single act of stepping out opened a door she didn't know was there. Today, Helen leads that group and says it helped her reconnect with herself and find new meaning. Creating a new routine doesn't mean erasing the one you had. It means gently crafting a rhythm that fits your current reality. Start small. It could be morning walks, joining a book club, volunteering once a week, or learning something you always wanted to but never had time for. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as growing a garden, mentoring a younger person, or caring for a pet. Rediscovering purpose also comes from serving others. Seniors who find small ways to give, whether through advice, experience, or simply being present, often report feeling more energized and emotionally fulfilled. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, shift the focus from loss to contribution. Grief never disappears completely, but it becomes something you carry differently. And in that space, a quiet kind of power is born: the power to reshape your life, define new goals, and rediscover joy without guilt. You're not replacing the love you lost. You're honoring it by choosing to live fully, even after goodbye. Step 6. Staying connected through technology. One of the most overlooked yet powerful tools in coping with loss is something many older adults shy away from at first: technology. But when used with a little guidance and curiosity, it can become a lifeline, a bridge to connection, support, and even joy. Let's talk about Frank. After losing his wife of 48 years, he found himself in a silence he wasn't used to. The house was too quiet, the days too long. His daughter suggested video calls. "I don't need all that tech stuff," Frank said at first. But she patiently set up a tablet, showed him how to use it, and soon he was seeing the faces of his grandchildren every evening, laughing with them, sharing stories, even helping with their schoolwork over Zoom. The glow returned to his eyes. Technology doesn't replace human touch, but it brings voices, expressions, and emotions into your living room. Whether it's FaceTiming with family, joining a grief support group on Facebook, or using a simple messaging app like WhatsApp, these platforms open doors to connection. You're no longer limited by distance or mobility. There are even dedicated communities for seniors dealing with loss, online forums where people share what they're going through, swap advice, and offer comfort in ways that feel incredibly human. And the best part? You don't have to be a tech wizard. Many devices are now designed to be senior-friendly, with larger buttons, voice commands, and simplified menus. If you're new to all of this, ask a grandchild or a friend to walk you through it. It may feel unfamiliar at first, but remember, learning something new is also part of healing. Every message you send, every call you make, is a reminder that you're still part of the world, still connected, still loved, still moving forward. Your voice matters, and today it can travel farther than ever before. Step 7. Permission to smile again. There comes a quiet yet powerful moment in grief where you catch yourself smiling, maybe while watching the sunrise, hearing a song from your past, or remembering a joke your spouse used to tell. And then, just as suddenly, the smile fades, replaced by guilt. How can I smile when they're not here? Am I forgetting them? These thoughts are common, and they can hold you back from the healing your heart so deeply deserves. But here's the truth. Smiling again is not a betrayal. It's a sign of life returning to you, a reminder that love doesn't end, it transforms. Think of Eleanor, 73, who lost her husband of 46 years. For months, she lived in silence, barely speaking, barely eating. Then one afternoon, her grandson made a silly face while eating ice cream, and Eleanor laughed out loud for the first time since the funeral. Immediately, she felt ashamed. But that night, she wrote in her journal, "Maybe my laughter is his gift to me. Maybe he'd want me to keep living." That one moment became a turning point. Smiling doesn't erase your grief. It honors the joy you shared. It means the love you had is strong enough to carry you forward, even without their physical presence. It means you're still alive, and being alive doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering with more love than pain. You don't need permission from the world. Give it to yourself. Let yourself enjoy the sunlight on your skin, the taste of your favorite meal, the warmth of a friend's hug. Let yourself laugh at that old movie you both used to love. These moments are not signs that you've moved on. They're signs that you're learning how to move forward. Healing isn't forgetting. Healing is holding on to their memory while allowing yourself to live a life that still has meaning, beauty, and purpose. So if today you find yourself smiling, don't apologize. That smile is a sign that you're honoring life, love, and the resilience within you. It's not the end of your grief. It's the next chapter of your strength. Final thoughts. Rediscovering life after loss. Losing a spouse is like losing a piece of yourself. The person you shared a home, a history, and a heart with is suddenly not there, and every corner of your life echoes with their absence. The silence is heavy, the routines feel empty, and the future can seem painfully uncertain. It's not something you just move on from. It's something you learn to carry differently. But let me tell you something important. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without breaking. It means honoring their memory by continuing to live and not just survive. Think about this. Your spouse wouldn't want you to stay stuck in sorrow forever. They'd want to see you smile again. They'd want you to feel joy in the little things, the morning sun on your face, the laughter of your grandchildren, the smell of something baking in the oven. They would want you to rediscover what it means to live, even with the ache of their absence. It starts small, a walk around the block, a phone call to an old friend, writing your thoughts in a journal, joining a group where people understand what you're going through. Bit by bit, those small steps help create new moments of connection, meaning, and peace. Remember, grief has no timeline. There's no right way to do this. Some days you'll feel strong, others you'll feel shattered, and that's okay. What matters is that you give yourself grace, stay curious about the future, and remain open to life. You are not alone. Many others have walked this path, and many will walk it after you. But no one can walk it exactly as you will. Your journey is unique. Your healing is yours. So let me ask you, what's one small thing you can do today not to forget, but to honor the love you shared? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let others know they're not alone in this. And if this video helped you, please like it and subscribe for more stories, guidance, and community. Thank you for being here. Your courage to keep going, to keep loving, to keep living is a light in this world. And your story isn't over yet.